So let's take a look at, with our sales data, creating a pivot table. And it's just this dang easy. So first thing, recognize this, that all this data, you know, it's interesting and it's good to have, but it's not really a whole lot of information. It doesn't give me much information. So I could sit down and look at this as the owner of this business and I'm like, okay, but really, how can I understand it better? Is there a way for me to see which salesperson had the most sales? Is there a way for me to see, which product is the most popular, and among the manufacturers, which of their products, Big Agnes makes, which of those are our best sellers? So how could I real quickly just start to understand that data? And to do that, I'm going to go up to Insert, Pivot Table. Sometimes put things in Excel, you might think, well, that's a very big data function, but it's under Insert. So you go to Insert, Pivot Table, and it basically says what range or table do you want to pivot, is your source data. What's the source data? And you can see the green marching ants around this table all the way down to row 3000. So I know that's all my data. And where do you want to put it? I want to put it in a new worksheet. So kaboom. And then I get this thing and I'm like, well, I don't know what the heck all that is. But the most important thing to pay attention to is this thing over here on the right, which is the pivot table fields. And if you do not see that, under this ribbon which comes up when you're working in pivot table tools, you have Analyze, and you can come over here and choose Show Field List. So that's how you can get the field list up. And then within this pivot table fields thing, you notice up here we have all the fields from our table. So sales transaction date, customer item, manufacturer. And if we go look at our data, we have, sales transaction date, customer item, manufacturer, and so on and so forth. And then we also have down here this area, which is really interesting, where we have a little quadrant called filters. We have a quadrant called columns, a quadrant called rows. Well, already rows and columns, I kind of understand that. Like, okay, rows and columns and filters, I understand that. And then I have this little summation sigma symbol right here and values. So is there like something I want to sum up? And I recognize that as like in Excel, sum means I could add something up or maybe even do other functions to whatever I have there. So let's just bring salesperson down here and let's bring total over here. So total again was like the total value of the transaction. And look at what came up so quickly. We have all of our salespeople, and then over here we have the total of all of their sales. So I'd rather see that as dollars. So I'm going to right click in that column, choose number format, and then go to currency without any decimal places and click OK. And then if I wanted to, I could go to data and I could sort that A to Z. So from, $320,000 a year, which is what Melissa Gomez was able to do as a salesperson, to Dennis Lopez brought in $418,000, almost $100,000 more. So he's my best salesperson, and Melissa, could use a little help. And so some really useful information. And really, this is how pivot tables work. And you can just start dragging stuff over here and seeing what the heck happens, right? Maybe I want to put manufacturer over into columns, and bam, look at that. Wow, holy cow. I have all of my salespeople and how much they sold of each item, each manufacturer, right? Each manufacturer and what the grand total is over here to the right. Is there something else I might put in? Well, maybe let's put in item. Let's drop that under manufacturer and see what happens. And here I have Big Agnes, and then each Big Agnes tent, and this scrolls way out to the right. And then I have, there's the total for Eureka and Exped right there and all their items. Well, that's kind of a lot to look at. Maybe it would look better if I had item down here. Oh, wow, look at that. Let me bring manufacturer down here, and let me bring salesperson up there. And so now I have, here's the manufacturer, and here's each item they manufacture, and here are my salespeople, and I could collapse this, right? I could collapse that. And so I've got this cool little drill down feature, right, where if these are all collapsed, if I don't want to manually collapse them, I could go up here to this ribbon and look around and see if there's something like, collapsed field where they all get collapsed. So now I have this thing where, oh, how's Kelty doing? Or let's go with this when they have less items. And we could see which of their items, are good sellers or not good sellers. So that's real quickly, boom, man, pivoting around on your data and just playing with the different little items here and seeing what comes up to the left. That's how you start using pivot tables. So let's take a look and see if there's anything here I wanted to also point out. when you click in your pivot tables, it should bring up the show